my goodness. I actually can't believe this just happened. The Philippines has pranked the prankster himself. Vitaly was let out on bail and instantly brought back in, and now he's breaking down after being sent to a maximum security prison. Guys, let's see this together, please. Let's go.
So Vitaly has officially hit rock bottom in the Philippines, and this isn't just about him losing muscle or crying behind bars. No, this man might have accidentally changed Filipino law just by being the most chaotic, clout-chasing nuisance in recent memory. Let's get into the full breakdown of what's actually going on with Vitaly, because between the failed bail, the body transformation, the prison transfer, and the new data privacy law he accidentally helped trigger, this story has evolved from YouTuber in trouble to a global embarrassment getting legally humbled in 4K. Let's rewind just a little. Up until recently, Vitaly was being held in an immigration facility, basically a holding spot where they keep foreigners who are about to be deported. It was jail light. Think of it like airplane peanuts, technically food but barely. Well now, he's actually been sent to real prison. As of the 11th of June, the Filipino Bureau of Immigration has officially transferred Vitaly into the custody of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, aka the BJMP.
And
that's not just a department switch, that's a full upgrade to hard mode. The reason? Local criminal charges. Translation, he's not just getting kicked out of the country, he's being prosecuted like a local criminal. And here's the twist, he's staying behind bars until his case plays out fully. Then and only then, he might go back to immigration for deportation. But even that's not guaranteed. He's stuck and there's no rescue team coming.
No one wants him either.
Guys, I have some bad news to tell you. I'm recording this after recording the original video, but Vitaly actually posted bail from BJMP for the court case of unjust vexation. However, he is not released and doesn't have freedom. Instead, he was transferred back to the Bureau of Immigration holding facility. Basically, he's still in jail.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know how the guy who's like commentating here didn't laugh at that. That's crazy work, man. Imagine you post bail, like, that means I'm free, right? Like, I posted bail. Like, you know, in every other country, when you post bail, you get out, right? No. Hey, Vitaly, bro, we just pranked y'all, man. Hey, we pranked you, bro. You just gave us some money, but you still staying here, bro. What you thought this was? Oh my gosh.
Facing a deportation case and officially labeled as an undesirable foreign national. So he's still having fun in jail. So now let's talk about the visual shock everyone had when new photos of Vitaly dropped after his transfer. In his earlier photos, he looks like a human protein shake, veins popping, chest puffed, smiling like he just bench pressed an apology. Now, well, the dude looks like he spent 3 months eating air sandwiches and doing cardio by pacing in his cell. He's still in decent shape, but the muscle gone, the smug smile gone, his face is sunken, his body shrunk, and his whole vibe screams, I made a mistake. Why the change? Well, 2 reasons. There is no gym gear in jail. I'll show you guys some photos of these Filipino jails, and yeah, there's not a lot of space. I'd be surprised if he has space to lay down fully when he's sleeping. And of course, he doesn't have access to the performance enhancers he allegedly relied on.
That's the biggest.
No testosterone, no supplements, no stacks, just plain rice and regret. And then let's talk about the stress and starvation. According to people who've seen the conditions in these facilities, inmates don't exactly get 3,000 calorie bulking meals. Some even claim he's being underfed or starved. Not intentionally, but because the resources just aren't there. And of course, with Vitaly probably weighing like 80 or 90 kilos, compared to the average Filipino male, he's definitely not getting the recommended serving size for his body type.
Look at this stuff he did,
here's where the story gets wild. Because of Vitaly and streamers like him, the Philippines just introduced a new data privacy rule targeting IRL nuisance content.
It appears that Vitaly has changed Philippine law. Yes. From the National Privacy Commission of the Philippines, saying vloggers must blur bystanders in posts under new NPC guidelines. So to explain real quick, whenever you have nuisance streamers, whenever you have these content creators, the IRL streamers, they are capturing many other people other than themselves in these videos, including vulnerable people, children, disabled people, elderly, people that they have absolutely zero permission or consent to record, and they're using him for clout, for profit, and even to mock those people that really can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
Vloggers are now required to mask images of bystanders in their post under the new guidelines of the National Privacy Commission.
But the question is I vlogged in the Philippines before. Do I need to do that now? Or is this just only applied now for future reference? And does that mean next time I go to the Philippines, do I need to blur out every single individual that's ever shown in my vlogs in the background? Or is this only towards people who are filmed directly? Because to me, that's crucial. You know, this is a crazy thing that Vitaly did. And hopefully it's not that, because I mean, it will be very difficult to vlog in the Philippines if that's the case. I have to essentially blur out every single individual that's in the background of my vlogs there. That's crazy, man. I mean, this is what happens when someone like him completely ruins the perspective that people are going to have on vloggers. I mean, I'm glad that my time there was nothing like that. Everyone was respected. And obviously you could check that out on my channel. But still, like, let me know, guys, more about that law, because it is crucial. This only applies for future reference. I don't have to go back to those videos, right, that I posted already and blur it. And on top of that, please let me know. Is it really like even people in the background when I record, when I go back to the Philippines? Like, I hope not, but like.
NPC Circular number 2501.
The National Privacy Commission rolled out NPC Circular number 251. Yes, they literally gave it a boss fight name, which forces vloggers to blur bystanders in their videos. Not just children or vulnerable folks, everyone. If someone didn't consent to be on camera, you better blur them or catch a case. This applies to streamers, vloggers, even body cam users. If you're filming in public and capturing faces without consent, you could be hit with criminal, civil, and administrative charges under the Philippines Data Privacy Act. The commission even said vloggers must post privacy notices before recording and explain in plain language what data they're collecting. So yeah, not only is Vitaly in jail, he helped change law enforcement standards for content creators in the Philippines. He broke the system so bad they had to patch the game mid-season. And let's be clear, the BJMP isn't a luxury resort. It's known for being overcrowded, under-resourced, and brutally harsh, especially for someone like Vitaly, who lived lavishly and acted invincible on camera. This isn't just jail time, this is a life lesson time. And even local Filipinos are saying the same thing. If this happened under former President Duterte, Vitaly wouldn't be in jail. He'd be off the grid entirely, like disappeared. People believe Duterte, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, wouldn't have tolerated the disrespect Vitaly showed. Some say he wouldn't even get a trial, and others claim if the president was still in office, we might be hearing about Vitaly in a true crime podcast instead of YouTube updates. Even
they called him the Punisher.
Filipino leadership is sending a message. Foreigners who abuse the country's hospitality will face full legal consequences. No clout armor, no privilege. Now here's the part some of you
Duterte, hopefully I pronounced that right. I keep forgetting sometimes like the name because there's so many other videos that I was reacting to, but Duterte, I think. But he was classified as like the Punisher for a lot of different things. I have a whole like video that I reacted to that was a documentary on him. And yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, he had no exception for some things like this from what I watched. But yeah, you guys can see that on my channel too, man. But this right here is like a perfect example of even without him, you can still see how harmful this guy was to the people there and everything that he's done. He's changed the law, man.
You may already know, but it hits even harder in context. Vitaly tried begging for bail, pledging to behave and not flee if released. That was flat out denied. Why? Because he's a massive flight risk, and both Russia and the US made it clear they want no part of him. Russia publicly condemned his actions and told his citizens, don't be like this guy. That's a diplomatic way of saying, he's your problem now. Meanwhile, the US took the lol no thanks approach. Vitaly is a green card holder, not a citizen, and nobody wants to go through the effort of dealing with his mess. The Philippines got the memo, that's why they moved him into the BJMP in the first place. If either country planned to swoop in and get him out, he would have stayed in immigration, but this transfer is a clear signal. He's being processed like a Filipino criminal and will face justice exactly the same way. Of course, that hasn't stopped the simps from simping. There's this one guy, an an ex-fan, tuned, unofficial hype man, still claiming Vitaly is valuable enough to get traded internationally. Bro, be for real. His theory sounds like it came from a late night Reddit thread. Maybe Russia will trade a Filipino prisoner for Vitaly. Or maybe Trump will pull some strings because Aiden Ross and the Nelk boys are friends with him.
They're seeking to get him out of the prison because he has a Russian citizenship. He's technically a Russian citizen. However, he hasn't lived there in many years. He never paid taxes there. He just traveled there, stayed in touch with certain YouTubers, had some certain connections, but he still has a Russian citizenship. And on top of that, he's a green card holder.
And he got crocodile tears though.
In the United States, but most of his life he lived in the States. So this is like a structure of the Russian government, especially during these times when there's a war in Ukraine. What Russian government is seeking for is to get a valuable person, which Vitaly is. I mean, he's a public figure, right? Public figures are always valuable people because they have following base, they have
not when they're harmful though.
Certain individuals overseas, so he's a valuable figure. That's why Russian diplomats staying in touch with the Philippine government to get him out of the prison. There might be Filipino prisoners that are currently prisoned in Russia and might be valuable for Philippine government, so they can do the trade. They can exchange from one prison to another. Therefore, Vitaly will go back to Russia.
Outlandish.
And somebody from Russian prison who is a citizen of Philippines will go to Philippines, including Nelk boys, because what's that guy named Aiden Ross, I believe, who are in touch with Donald Trump. These people are valuable, obviously. If you're in a shithole like Vitaly,
I'm sorry, if this happens, that's sad. If that happens, right? But like the guy said, the commentator, he himself was saying like this just sounds like a Reddit theory. And here's the thing, let's just play devil's advocate. Let's pretend that this guy is right. That is the most ridiculous and stupidest thing I've ever heard and will happen, right? If it did happen, right, in this example. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, mainly because trading someone who's considered quote-unquote valuable because he's a figure, a popular figure. Yo, you have to remember that the reason they're popular is very important. The reason he's popular is because he's completely a nuisance. And some people love to watch that for some reason. Like, love to watch someone completely ruin someone else's day. Don't know why, but hey, that's the world we live in, and that's all he's done. And so, especially when Russia is saying we don't want no part of him, because the reason he's popular is because he's a bad person. That's why he's popular. He's a, what's it called? A villain. Like, he's a popular villain. Why would they want that? And why would they want that on their plate? You know what I mean? Like, even so, like, so even if he was out for that, that just looks dumb on everyone's part for trading him. Like, he's some, like, nice guy and stuff. Like, no.
You're gonna be doing everything you can. And I'm pretty sure she's done already.
First off, this isn't a Cold War spy movie. Second, Vitaly's not valuable. He's not Edward Snowden. He is just a gym bro with a GoPro and
let's not forget that too,
And the saddest part, the same dude said Vitaly ghosted him years ago, refused to collab, and told him to kick rocks. But he's still defending him like a puppy waiting for a belly rub. That's not loyalty, that's delusion. Nobody's coming to save Vitaly. Not Russia, not the US, not Trump, not Aiden, not the Nelk boys, not even the guy he told to screw off. So, from YouTube stunts to jail bunks, Vitaly's fall from grace is a warning shot to every cloud chaser on the internet. He thought going viral was worth anything. He thought he was untouchable. He thought consequences were just a YouTube comment section problem. But the Philippines isn't a playground, it's a sovereign nation. And when you break the law there, you don't get a slap on the wrist. You get locked up. You get your name blasted on the news. You get humbled by a justice system that doesn't care about your subscriber count. So yeah, Vitaly may have changed the law, but it came at the cost of his freedom, his career, and maybe even his identity. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and let that sink in the next time you see someone live streaming themselves being obnoxious in public.
And look back at this right here. Sometimes we be forgetting what he did, because amongst all the things, all the new stuff that is coming out about him, and then, you know, trying to make him look like a victim and trying to make him look like, hey man, I've changed. This is really sad. Look what's happening to me. Let's not forget the things that he did. Looking back at these footages right here, look, I'll even mute it just so you can watch this. Just watching what he's doing to people, like in front of other Filipinos too, just straight up coming up to this security guard. Just probably, you know, he probably got a wife and kid at home. Can't wait to come home, but he's being like ashamed of in public, like being shamed in public for being nice or too nice, right? Taking advantage of their kindness and just straight up, like, he's in pure confusion. He's like, what are you doing? He's just trying to grab his hat back. Even walking, like anywhere else, most people would probably instantly attack you back. But because it's in the Philippines, they're so incredibly kind that they will first take that first step of understanding before they full out just attack you. But in other countries, they won't do that. They'll straight up attack you, bro. I'm telling you right now, in Brazil, for example, from where I'm from, they will completely attack you. They will not just be like, hey, what are you doing, man? They would just attack you. I've seen it before, right? And you can't just go up to somebody, take their hat, and nothing happens. In Brazil, you get attacked. In America, most likely you will get attacked or even shot because of the fact that most people sometimes even carry weapons, which is already crazy. You know, it is scary in a sense. But in the Philippines, what I loved about visiting there is I always felt safe. You know, everyone here is going to take that first step to understand before full out attacking you or having any issues. I remember there was a time actually in the Philippines where I went to this gym, and he told me, oh, if you're a resident here, you can come in. I didn't hear him say resident. I thought it was just if you're there for like an Airbnb. And I was there. I was working out a little bit, and he came up to me. He didn't come up to me like how other places I've done before of like, you make a mistake, they're like, hey, get out. He walked up to me quietly, you know, tapped me on my shoulder. He's like, hey, you said you were Airbnb, not resident. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, you're not allowed to actually work out here. You know, you can't. So if you can, like, maybe leave and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, no problem. So calm and relaxing. Places don't do that. Vitaly instantly, light bulb in his brain went off. That's a perfect place to go and ruin their days, because the chances of me getting arrested and put in jail for a long time, or being able to, for anyone to stop me from what I'm doing, is going to take a while because they're incredibly kind. So let's abuse that. Pathetic, man. We can't forget this, bro. Look what he did to this cop, man. Like, this is like, look at this. He's like trying to just take his hat, look, goofing off, walking into the McDonald's. Like, they're all over here just letting him use the grill, just letting him do it. Like, hey, go ahead, you know, and he's just like saying crazy things at the same time. We can't forget that. So, hey, the Philippines done pranked him back. Thank you guys for linking this over, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you liked it, leave a like. If you loved it, subscribe. Till next time, guys. Peace.
How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end.